Yes, mtazamaji, welcome to the second hour of this amazing show. They call it Amka Kenya. My name is Tony Mirigi. You are still watching your number one morning dose of news, social conversation, entertainment. Lakini pia mtazamaji, umefika ule wakati wa kuweza kuupdate jinsi hali inavyokaa barabara, because when you see me here kila siku asubuhi, alafu uone nyuma yangu kuna hii map, you just know kazi yangu, it is just to act as an intermediary between you and your boss. Manake mimi sitaki uchelewe kazini. Kazi yangu ni kukushow the easiest and the busiest way ya kutumia kuelekea kazini. Before niweze kuupdate kama kawaida, naomba nikukumbushe swali la siku ya leo ambalo you can be part of this amazing conversation. Tutumie hashtag kila mahali, that is Amka Kenya. Utuambie maoni yako ni yapi kuhusiana na swali la siku. Na asubuhi ya leo mtazamaji, being on a beautiful Tuesday, tunakuuliza, what do you think the government needs to do to ensure SHA works? Tuambie this morning, what do you think the government needs to do to ensure SHA works? Ama kwa lugha ya Kiswahili tunakuuliza, unadhania serikali ya William Samoei Ruto inafaa kufanya nini kuhakikisha kwamba SHA inafanya kazi? Alafu baadaye Keitani and Remy will be sampling your feedback in regards to this question of the day. Now, this morning, naanza tu kuupdate. Alright, kuupdate na barabara yetu ya kwanza. Ni barabara ambayo inasemekana kwamba hii ndio the busiest road in Kenya. Thika Road, hali iko vipi? Mtazamaji, mambo yako shwari kabisa asubuhi ya leo. Hakuna msongamano wa magari unavyoona katika TV yako asubuhi ya leo mtazamaji. In case you're using hii barabara kuelekea kazini, ni hakikisho ya kwamba hakuna msongamano wa magari mtazamaji katika barabara hii ya Thika Road. Ni barabara moja ambayo Wakenya wengi wanaitumia sana kuelekea kazini. Na as we report to you this 7:02 in the morning, hakuna msongamano wa magari mtazamaji katika hii barabara, lakini pia kuna trafiki kidogo katika roundabout ya Kasarani Police Station. Hapo ndio kuna ka small ka traffic kidogo, though jam sio crazy, lakini masuala yako vizuri sana mtazamaji. Kuupdate tu in case unatumia hii barabara, hakuna msongamano wa magari japokuwa kuna trafiki kidogo katika roundabout ya Kasarani. Lakini pia hali iko shwari katika barabara ya Kasarani Mwiki Road, mambo yako best kabisa. Na pia barabara ya Kamiti hakuna msongamano, lakini kuna ka small ka jam kidogo ndiko kameanza kupile up katika barabara hiyo ya Kamiti Road mtazamaji. Kukufahamisha tu, kama unatumia hii barabara, wajuze na wafahamishe pia, wafahamishe wenzako kwamba mambo yako shwari na ndio usichelewe kazini. Just in case you're supposed to report to work by 8, anza kutoka saa hii, manake we don't know in the next 20 minutes kama jam itashika. Yes, before niende kwa barabara next, hivi ndivyo hali leo mtazamaji katika hii barabara ya Thika Road. Mambo yako shwari kabisa na hakuna msongamano wowote wa magari. In case unatumia barabara mtazamaji, nitumie picha, nitumie video. Kuna namba ya WhatsApp iko hapa chini. Just make sure you save that number in your phone, then record a video, take a photo, then send it to me, and then I shall be updating millions of Kenyans who are watching this show. Now, switching our gears from hii barabara Kasavuli. Alright, tuelekee katika barabara ya Jogoro mtazamaji. Hali sio shwari mtazamaji, jam kali sana, trafiki. Yes, trafiki imeshika sana mtazamaji katika hii barabara ya Jogoro, na hivi ndivyo hali ilivyo mtazamaji. Mambo yameshika sana. In case unatumia hii barabara, hivi ndivyo hali. Ukiangalia vizuri, mwanzo wa Jogoro kajam ni kadogo. Ukisonga mbele kidogo katika hii barabara ya Jogoro, mambo si mazuri, manake kuna msongamano mkali wa magari katika hii barabara ya Jogoro mtazamaji. Alafu huku mbele kabisa ndio msongamano unafunguka, jam inakuja kuishia huku mbele kabisa katika hii barabara ya Jogoro mtazamaji. Na mambo ndivyo yalivyo katika hii barabara. Kukufahamisha tu, kama unatumia hii barabara, anza kutoka mapema, because Gen Z wanasema kwamba mapema ndio best, na inabidi utoke mapema ndio ufike kazini on time. Usikosane na mdosi wako, manake ukikosana naye sijui mambo itakuwaje. Haya, tusonge mbele kidogo katika barabara za Likoni Road. Mambo yako safi kabisa. Hivi tu ndivyo hali ilivyo mtazamaji. That is just a quick update on Jogoo Road. Tuondoke hapa Kasavuli, tuelekee wapi? Kasavuli? Alright. Safi mtazamaji, nafahamisha kwamba nitakufahamisha hizo barabara zingine baadaye, lakini tuambie this morning via hashtag that is Amka Kenya. Ndani ya Right Check hapa tunakufahamisha hali ilivyo katika barabara mbalimbali nchini Kenya, all the 47 counties, and then later on we shall be crossing over to other counties like Mombasa, Nakuru, Kisumu, just to update you jinsi hali ilivyo. Manake just a reminder, kurudia tu, kazi yangu it is just to act as an intermediary between you and your boss. Manake sitaki mkosane na mdosi wako na kufahamisha barabara iliyo salama ya kutumia. Na kama jam imeshika, nakwambia use this way, don't use this way. Alafu mimi, you'll thank me later. Mapema ndio best. Oh, yeah.
Right. Tony, thank you so much for that. And before, of course, we take a couple of your responses, Ian here will be doing that. Let's finish up on the two headlines on the Daily Nation and the Standard. And Mudiora, you'll be just giving us your brief perspective on the same before we move. Now, let's take a look at the Daily Nation. The Daily Nation on the front page says, State House buys software dealers, passport revoked. It's right there on your screens. Now, this story is on page 4 and 5, and it says spying software. Kenyan-Canadian Mary Washuka, who has sued 4 senior government officials, including the head of public service and the president's speechwriter, over a botched 123 million shilling spy software. And of course, Deal has protested that authorities have cancelled her Kenyan passport. She has linked the action to the high-stakes suit, alleging an attempt to twist her into dropping her claim. Of course, we have more headlines on the Daily Nation, but we'll cross over to the Standard. And on the front page of the Standard, we have a silent but escalating power struggle is paralyzing the Ministry of Education, where Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba is being openly contradicted by his 2 principal secretaries who seem too powerful. And that is from free guidelines to go schools and curriculum policy. The confusion is deepening, leaving parents, students and MPs questioning who really controls the education agenda. Right, so Mudiora, as we wind up, what is your very brief comment on these 2 pages?
Well, I'm disappointed that a Kenyan citizen has been denied the right to travel by their passport being cancelled. She alleges that she was informed that she couldn't leave Canada because her Kenyan passport had been marked as cancelled. Now, we remember she was involved in a deal for the provision of a spying infrastructure that State House was installing. It's not the first time that this is happening. You recall we had a case of Miguna, who was forcefully removed from the country and denied entry, even though the courts ruled that he was supposed to be facilitated to come back. Now, the same people who were in office then, because William Ruto, who is now president, was deputy president then, seems to be allowing for the continuation of the same. This is very disappointing.
Right. Okay, Mudiora,
No.
we appreciate your sentiments on this, and this is where we will wind up. But we'll be, of course, having you on set to have more perspectives on this different issues on our different dailies. Thank you so much for that.
I appreciate the opportunity.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
All right.
All right, Mzamaji Keitano will be coming back with an interview in a few, but before that, as our guest gets in our studio, allow us to pose to you one more time question of the day. Mzamaji, be part of this amazing question. Tuambie your reaction via hashtag, that is Amka Kenya, kila mahali at Ian Keitani. Then Ian will be sampling your feedback. The question of the day this morning, tunakuuliza Mzamaji, what do you think the government needs to do to ensure SHA works? Mzamaji, we have seen yesterday matamshi yake waziri wa afya Aden Duale, some of the adjustment kuhusiana na kutumia OTP katika upande wa masuala ya SHA na masuala mengine. Mzamaji, we have seen a couple of reactions za Wakenya wengi kuhusiana na swali la siku ambalo tunakuuliza, what do you think the government needs to do to ensure ya kwamba SHA inafanya kazi? Lakini pia before tuambie what exactly government should do, tueleze katika eneo lako, je, SHA inafanya kazi? Je, mtazamaji, wewe kama Mkenya unaochi show asubuhi, ushawahi tumia SHA? What is your experience with SHA? Alafu ukishatuambia hayo, utuambie what do you think the government needs to do to ensure that SHA works. Niko na baadhi ya maoni ya Wakenya this morning. Kuna Mkenya mmoja kwa jina Robert Wankari anasema kwamba for SHA to work, it should avoid private hospital and encourage public and mission hospital to offer the service. Then Shadrach Biden this morning says they should scrap it and allow people to seek alternative private insurance. The consumer knows best what suits them. Then we have a comment by Dan Jabare who says, wacha nisome hiyo niachana kidogo. Then tuko na ingine nasema kwamba Junior Mushemi this morning says scrap it all and move back to NHIF. That is a comment by Junior Mushemi says. And then Senator Chepkwony says the SHA is already working for those who pay and use it. Then we have the last comment here says, I thought it was working. How come it's not? Well, that is a comment from Franco Hopper, who says that on his side is Franco, that SHA is working. Mzamaji, this morning, you can be part of this conversation. Utuambie via hashtag, that is Amka Kenya, kila mahali. Utuambie, je, what do you think the government needs to do to ensure SHA works? From here, I hand it over to Keitani for Politalks, and then later on, atakuwa nasoma comments zako kuhusiana na swali la siku, kuhusiana na maswala ya SHA. Keitani, uwanjani wako.
Of course, thank you very much, Tony Murigi. The question of the day is in regards to, again, the directive by the CS for Health in regards to the biometric authorization. Now, we shift gears to matters. I'm here Politalks now, and I'm joined by Kajiado North lawmaker, that is Honorable Onesimus Ngogoyo. Honorable Ngogoyo, it's been a minute since you were here. Very good morning to you.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning to you, and thank you for having me again.
Thank you very much. Now, let me begin with giving you the right of reply. Yesterday, I was seated here with the CS for Public Service and Human Capital. That is one, Geoffrey Ruku, and had a few things to say in regards to the opposition. I questioned him about the violence meted on the opposition and Gachagwa's allies in Gachagua, to be specific, and the opposition generally in Shole Bungoma County, his allies in Nakuru, in Gilgil, in Murang'a County. And he said the opposition is perpetrating anarchy in the country. I don't know what you have to say as a member of the opposition as it stands right now.
I will forgive Rocco because he's now a small boy in government who probably does not understand what are the current ongoings. Remember, the PS for Public Service does not sit in any of the national security organs. So for him to know what happens. The truth is that the state has decided any dissenting voice has to be meted by police brutality. Anyone who says that we are leading the country into anarchy, which anarchy? When you throw a tear gas and disrupt a meeting in the center of Gilgil town, where there are women and children, you maim individuals for no apparent reason. No apparent reason. I was in the Gilgil meeting. The police came on uniform and some on civilian. The tear gas was thrown by police officers, well known to the people of Gilgil. A few of them were on civilian and masks. So when a CS says that there is anything to do with us, this has everything to do with government not wanting to have a contrary opinion and anybody with dissent talking. What happened also in Murang'a, that is the epitome of intolerance, where you barricade a road, you shoot cars, and IPOA has a statement. I'm sure it's a matter that is alive in their records. But whether this government does whatever it will do, we still insist that William Ruto is a one-term president. There is nothing he will do to change our resolve to make him a one-term president. There is no president who has done what he's doing. Kenyatta didn't do what he's doing. Moi didn't do what he's doing. Kibaki did not do what he's doing. His immediate predecessor did not do to him what he's doing to individuals who do not agree with him on principle. For instance, we were elected on UDA party, but we do not agree with what UDA is doing presently. I do not agree with the issue of abductions. We do not agree with the intolerance of state officers, that whenever somebody says anything, it is a matter that you can pick it up with them. And remember, this is a country that has a very strong constitution, entrenched Bill of Rights, unlike many other countries. This is not our neighbor Tanzania. This is not Uganda. Neither is this DRC, neither is it Southern Sudan. This is Kenya, where we have grown over time since 1963 to have a constitution. It has been bettered in one way or the other. We have gone and amended wholly our constitution, given ourselves a new constitution in the year 2010 without violence. After the 2007 election, in 2010, Kenyans voted to have a new constitution. The right to assemble is not, we will not assemble when William Ruto wants. We assemble because we want to. We assemble because we have something that we want to engage Kenyans on. And we've been conducting public participation.
Okay.
We ask Kenyans, what are you saying? They tell us before anything else, one term. Kenyans, that's what Kenyans are saying.
Okay, fair enough. I'll come back to what the UDA party envisioned and its manifesto. But you've talked about President William Ruto not doing what his predecessors even did. Yesterday, President William Ruto, speaking to a team from Tharaka Nithi County in State of Nairobi, termed himself the best president that we've ever had. And in fact, he mentioned all the former presidents. He said he has the courage of our first president, Jomo Kenyatta, the understanding of former President Moi, the education of President Kibaki, and the vision that he shared with former President Uhuru Kenyatta, and that he's the best pick, he's the most educated head of state that we've ever had. And so Kenya is best pleased to have him at the highest office in the land.
One definition of madness is doing something consistently and you expect different results. I do not know what the president refers to when he says he's the best president, because he knows very well in his reign, he's the only president that has been publicly rejected by the public, not leaders, the public. Since June last year, the president is facing rebellion that has not been seen before against a sitting president. Institutions were almost crumbling down since June 25th last year. The president knows very well he's not the best. He was elected with a lot of hopes, but he's not the best president. But he's not the only one. In 1989, and I invite you to read about the president of Romania, one Nicolae Ceausescu. He believed he was the best president. Actually, he believed he was the savior of Romania. In his thinking, housing was an opportunity for him to transform the country of Romania. He was so obsessed with the issue of housing that he got people out of their personal houses to put them to urban centers and try and give them housing, thinking that he's giving the country a solution. He became too obsessed with the matter. The issue of abductions became a daily issue. He abducted descending voices. You can Google. President Ceausescu Nicolae believed he was a savior, just like William Ruto.
Now, what was the point of departure, Honorable Ngongoye? Because I vividly remember you vigorously campaigned for him. And like you said, many people thought it is the man for the job, including you. Putting the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua aside, what was the point of departure? At what point did you, as a member of parliament, as a man who vouched for him fully, realize that maybe I misled the people?
Number one, William Ruto lies, consistently lies. My point of departure with him, the president came to my constituency several times. I told you there's a network of roads called the 65 kilometers road network, cuts across Ongata Rongai, Kiserian, and Ngong. He comes, commits before people, before the election, after the election, up to date. The roads are not yet completed. That is number one. Number two, he commits before people, before the election. We shall do all Bomas, Kiserian, Ongata Rongai, Kiserian Road. And he says we shall do it in our first 2 years. Zero. He confesses before people in a meeting that Ongata Rongai, in 4 months, we shall have water and enough water to serve the resident of Ongata Rongai, what was called the Ndakaine Project 3. Up to date, no water for the residents of Ongata Rongai. These are things, he said. We sat down at Cocos along Pipeline Road as leaders who were then in the UDA party. We agreed on what government will do for Kajiado. We agreed what were the priorities. None of the issues we discussed has seen the light of the day. We have discussed about the value chain of livestock. We agreed what to do with our hide, where to establish our tannery. We agreed on what we will do so that the farmer, the livestock farmer in Kajiado, will be able to benefit from their livestock. And remember, you can only talk about what you do.
Okay.
All those matters not addressed.
Okay.
The worst part is that the president does not listen. And I'm saying, like, you're listening to me, the president does not listen. He thinks he knows everything. I have discussed with him several times. The president is not listening, and I'm telling you, he's not listening.
Okay. Let me go back to the Kenya Kwanza manifesto, even during the campaign period. Now, the bone of contention right now is the empowerment programs. And the biggest question is the source of these funds being dished out in millions by leaders of the Kenya Kwanza administration led by the deputy president. Now, leaders allied to President William Ruto do say that this was part of the Kenya Kwanza manifesto, that they would empower, the women in the country, women groups, youth groups, and all that. Now, as a member of the UDA party, was this part of the plan? And if so, was this plan initiated, or did you have this, plan in mind and envision that, yes, we'll have these empowerment programs, and the funds that will be used to empower these women, these young, Turks out there in the country, will be coming from the pockets of these legislators? And from what you said, do you believe that these funds are coming indeed from the pockets of these politicians, or is it from public coffers?
Number one, empowerment was not part of the plan. We agreed to create an environment that enables people to thrive. And we agreed that we want your hustle to become our interest as government so that we facilitate you. There was nowhere we agreed we shall go giving out handouts. The handout of giving out maize and rice, the empowerment of giving out maize and rice, is that empowerment? That in a meeting, a group, like one was done in Kajiado led by the State House Controller, you come, give a motorbike to a SACCO and believe that you have empowered a whole SACCO? I mean, empowerment? What we agreed, we were to create an environment that makes business to thrive. If you zero rate, for instance, motorcycles and zero rate their spare parts, you have created an environment where the players in that industry are able to access at a lower rate in terms of prices, whatever they were getting. Remember, we now have VAT on spare parts on motorbike, which was not there since the era of Moi Kibaki. Right now, we have VAT on the spare parts. We also agreed we shall have what is called, remember, talking about the e-motorbike, the electric motorbike. If we were to empower people, we should have removed them from using fuel to using solar. That is what we had agreed. That is what is called empowerment. You cannot purport to empower, and mostly in some of the regions, what they are doing, they have 3 trucks, heavy trucks, carrying maize and beans. It's unfortunate that is what they want to refer as empowerment. I want to disagree that in our manifesto that we participated in, and the manifesto has no problem, the implementer has a problem. And the president must understand the customer is always right. We are not comfortable with what he's doing. We didn't agree.
Okay.
It is not the public that is telling him just that. We who are in UDA do not agree with what he's doing. If this empowerment is true empowerment, what should happen? Let's have then 50 million for every constituency. Why have selective empowerment? You're just doing empowerment for the members of parliament who support William Ruto or who are saying yes, sir.
Okay.
They should put it in the budget. Let it be from the exchequer and not from the presidency. Remember, they give handouts. In a place in Kisii, they were sharing 64 shillings.
Okay, hold on to that thought, Honorable Ngegoe. Let's just take a brief breath and then we'll be back to talk about even the issue of the UDA manifesto and what policies and agenda that you as an opposition have, even as we talk about ousting him in 2027 as an outfit, like you say. That will be in a moment. Do stay with us.